I'm James,
I'm Carrie.
I'm Lacey.
And I'm Lee. Just one more fix.
a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network.
Just like the show you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of each individual host.
Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready, because geekiness begins in 3,
2, 1.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 327 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, recorded live on Sunday, September 9th, 2018. And I will apologize to our chat room. For some reason, the Twitch chat embed is not working 100% right on the video this week, and I don't know why. When I went to go investigate it, it started working again, so I don't understand. Awkward silence. Thanks, guys.
Well, I mean, I'm waiting to be introduced here.
When do I ever really introduce you?
You do it every goddamn week,
Not
Chris.
really anymore. You guys just kind of steamroll me.
Yeah, that's also true, but I'm waiting on it now.
All right, so I'm Chris, and joining me today is the one and only Anthony Bachman.
Hi, my name is Anthony, and I'm a Spider-Man addict.
And some schmuck... Go ahead.
This is the right meeting, right?
This is the right meeting for recovery. And some schmuck who thinks he's a country music megastar named Willie Nelson.
That's me. Man, boy, am I tired after slinging my webs all over the house.
Oh, we waited for that? Boo! Boo!
Hey, as long as I get a reaction, I'm happy.
No, you shouldn't be happy with subpar. No.
You think I can shoot for the stars and get good?
I mean, I guess at least he tried. We're all let down, Willie.
He
We're
gets
all
a
let down.
participation trophy. I don't know. I
There
found
you
a
go.
custom emoji that worked though in the chat room.
Yeah, I
What
saw
Willie
you,
needs
piece
to
of
do.
shit. But
There you go. Participation trophy
For those in
Willie.
audio, I sent him a die in a fire emoji.
I mean, I hope I die in a much different way, because that sounds very painful and very hurting.
Yeah, it really does. But yeah, guys, welcome to episode 327 of the podcast. This is the Spider-Man Recovery Group. You'll find out more as we get into this. And that's going to be the name of this episode, I think.
Oh, yeah. Since we are all addicts.
So before we start getting into things, how are things going, guys? You guys had a good week? Getting any shenanigans that was fun?
Still recovering a bit from the Summer Beer Olympics.
I guess that's proof we're not as young as we used to be, Willie, if it's taking you a week to recover from the Beer Olympics.
Well, I mean, I only drink twice or 3 times a year at most.
What I'm hearing here is I didn't train like a champion for the Beer Olympics.
Nope.
If you trained, Willie, you could be a champion.
If you fail to train, then you train to fail.
When you're already at the top of the game, what's good training
Willie,
going to do?
Willie,
you?
did you ever take first place in the Beer Olympics?
You know what? You can get that dick out your mouth when you're talking to me, Chris.
Look, all I'm saying is if you haven't taken first place, you're not the champion.
Yeah. First loser, you are not at the top of the game.
Hey, I won my solo events. I don't want to hear
A
it.
likely story.
I mean, it came down to flip cup. And the only reason we lost is our cup slid.
Chris, did Willie bring home the gold?
I don't think Willie brought home the gold. That's what I'm hearing here.
Then suck it!
You pieces of shit.
Talk about being at the top of the game.
I won every solo game I was in.
If you were good enough, you could have carried. You would have won enough to carry your entire team.
And a lot of these games were new games. Like Hungry Hippos. That was a new game.
Yeah, so Sailor Poland's got it right. We're going to make you watch Beer Fest for motivation for next year.
There you go.
You need to get ready.
I can't reach it. It's all the way up there. Oh, or is it over? Where's it?
Yeah.
See,
You need to train more.
This
It's
is
not
the
in
challenge,
place.
folks. Throughout
Which
the show,
mean-
try and connect things to movies, and we'll see if Willie has it sitting on his shelf next to him. Because every time we talk about a movie lately, he's got it right next to his computer, it seems like.
Where the hell?
There we go. Sailor Pull's got it. A poor workman blames his tools. If you were better at what you were doing, you would have brought home the gold.
I'm sorry, Willie. We're not putting up with this nonsense.
Don't
that you're a
fucking
champion.
lie to me. You're not
You're
sorry.
not a champion.
You're not sorry for shit. Don't fucking lie.
I'm
to
just sorry that you're upset that you're not a real champion. You better start practicing for next year so you can be the real champion. Get your teammates and start having monthly Beer Olympic practice.
me. Oh, I mean, it's all new games. I can't fucking train for new games.
You have new games every year? You don't go with like Flip Cup and Beer Pong and Beirut and stuff like that each year?
Well, since we had only 3 teams this year because people keep backing out, was we had to pull a ladder and only have 3 teams. We instead of playing beer pong, we did a version of it called Cutthroat, which if you know the game of Cutthroat and pool, though we had like colored rims on all the cups, and the whole point is to keep your cups on and try and get in other people's cups.
I see.
If you made it into your own, it's gone, and the other 2 teams get to put their cups back in.
Willie, here's some challenges for you to see if you have them nearby. Do you have Chatterbox on your shelf?
I never even fucking heard of that.
The Emperor's New Groove. Do you have that?
Wizards by Ralph Bakshi.
I don't have a lot of Disney movies. I can tell you that right now.
How about Equestria Girls?
I've never even heard of that one.
Going super obscure. How is that going to help me
This
out?
is Sailor Poland. He's taking the challenge to make sure if you can pull things off the shelf as we talk about. Last one he had on there, Triplets of Belleville.
I've not pulled not one thing that's super obscure from my shelf.
Well,
and the last one's just cheating, Sailor Poland. Like that's just no fair.
yeah, you can't suggest a movie you made and say, does Willie have it on his shelf?
Because it's never been on DVD. Well,
Well,
of course he
yeah.
doesn't have it then. It'd be hilarious if Willie pulled it up on a laptop. Got it, bitch.
All right. Willie, Equestria Girls is My Little Pony movie, so it's not obscure.
I'm happy I did not know that.
Well, good thing we're not playing Porn or Pony.
Well, we
I
got to
was like,
remember,
I lost that fucking game.
Willie's porn or pony knowledge came from the porn side of the house, not the pony side of the house.
That's true.
When we
There's
played
the
that
reason he
game.
took 3rd, if I remember correctly.
Wait, you think I actually learned their names?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Some of us pay more attention than you.
Well, I only really know the ones I'm like, oh, that's some big old boobies.
Chatterbox
good.
is about a woman with a singing, talking vagina, Willie. That sounds like it's right up your alley.
That does sound like a movie he would own.
That sounds like a horror movie, actually. I don't want to see that. Hello,
No,
my
you're-
baby. Hello, my darling.
You're thinking of Teeth, the movie about a vagina dentata.
And I've never seen that movie for a reason.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to see it. I know it exists, but I don't want to watch it.
I've seen the trailer has the clip of the doctor just going in dry, pretty much, and all of a sudden he gets his fingers bit off.
That sounds terrible.
And the most obscure thing I can probably pull off my shelf is the Toxic Avenger.
That's not obscure.
Oh, it's fucking obscure.
No.
Now, I'm sorry, you're living in an echo chamber. You have to understand, not a lot of people know about the Toxic Avenger when you're given like the general population.
It is the most famous of all the trauma films.
Oh, I
So,
will give you that, but
if you're gonna say it's something obscure, it would want to be one of the lesser trauma films. The average person may have heard of the Toxic Avenger. May.
I said it's probably the most obscure movie I can pull from my reach right
well,
here.
that means you just need more trauma films.
Well, that's the only way. I guess fine. I guess I could also pull out Toxic Avenger Part 3 because that's probably the most obscure if you really want to be technical. Or
that would definitely be more obscure.
Or like the first 3 episodes of the Toxic Avengers, or was it Toxic Crusaders? Sorry, Toxic Crusaders, the animated show where they put like
the cartoon.
yeah, because I bought the Tox box a long time ago. It had Toxic Avenger 1, 2, and 3, and then like I guess the first 3 episodes on a DVD of the cartoon. Still, I don't know. How the fuck did they make a cartoon out of that? Oh, it's got titties and gore.
There was a point in the late 80s, early 90s where the crazy offensive stuff like the Toxic Avenger got really popular.
And Rambo got fucking cartoon too.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Rambo had a cartoon. And yeah, there was a point in the late 80s where they were making almost everything into cartoons. And then that kind of all died off, and that's why Batman, the animated series, was such a big deal when it came out. Because it had been so long since we'd had a good cartoon.
God, I want the Blu-rays of that. They look so gorgeous when they posted the video online of all the work they did on it.
I've never bought that series before, so yeah, the idea of waiting now and getting that Blu-ray box set, oh hell yes.
Supposedly, the Blu-ray conversion is what's going to be on the DC streaming service, though, too, for anyone that is more interested in the streaming service right now. because of things like Young Justice and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. We're starting to get into newsy stuff, so it means I just got to hit this button, and I'm going to hit it right now.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
That's right, it's the news of the week. It's that part of the show where we run down what is in our minds the most interesting, geeky, and or nerdy news to have come in the past week. There's some good stuff here. We're saving one of the bigger stories for last. Willie's got that one, don't worry. When Willie's got news, we know it'll be entertaining.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Chris just said Willie's got the biggest one.
Oh no!
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, the biggest hemorrhoid.
Thank you for noticing. Well, when it's taking up all that space, it's got to push back somewhere, and it's not really a hemorrhoid. It's just pushing back in.
God damn it. What did I do? All right, so let's talk news. Let's talk Emmy Awards and stuff like that. Award season has started for things, and last night, I believe it was last night. Yeah, it was on the 8th. The Emmy Awards took place, and specifically, we started talking about outstanding animated program, and we have a winner. It's Rick and Morty that won. And as
and Chris, I wanted to bring up something because the Emmys didn't happen last night. The Creative Arts Emmys happened last night. I had to look this shit up on Wikipedia because now the Emmys has been divided into Primetime Emmy Awards, Daytime Emmy Awards, Sports Emmy Awards, and each of those three categories are subdivided into their own Creative Arts Primetime, Creative Arts Daytime, and Creative Arts Sports Emmys.
Hold on a
There's
second.
literally like 6 different categories of Emmys now.
And the podcast Emmys. Steven wants to bring that up too. Not the podcast awards, the podcast Emmys.
Hold on a second. The Sports Emmys? What the fuck is that?
It's all for like the sports shows.
Yeah,
The
sports that are
announcers?
televised.
Not necessarily announcers, but some of like the studio shows and stuff like that. Did you ever watch Katie Nolan's
Like
show?
Arliss? Arliss.
Did you watch like Garbage Time by Katie Nolan and stuff like that? Like the sports talk shows and stuff like that? They have different awards for that. She won a sports Emmy for that, actually. She's really talented. I like her shows.
Let's talk about Arliss.
I don't
Robert
even know what
Wool.
that is.
It was an old
You
HBO
don't know
show.
Arliss?
No,
It's an
I don't.
HBO show where he's a man. You know who Robert Wool is? He was in the first Batman movie in Tim Burton. He was he wasn't Harvey. No, yeah, he goes Billy. He was like what's her name? Vicky Vale's like a coworker. Is that guy?
Okay.
Knox.
So let me take it back to my news story that we were on. Is that they had whatever version of the Emmys this was last night. An outstanding animated program went to Rick and Morty. Justin Roiland treated out. Now we're mainstream sellouts, which I thought was a good way to put it. Now, it did have competition. It won for the episode Pickle Rick, which I think we all kind of enjoy. Anthony's holding up a Pickle Rick Funko right now.
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty.
He turned himself into a pickle. Pickle Rick beat out an episode of Bob's Burgers, Big Hero 6, the series, South Park, and The Simpsons to take this Emmy.
So it had no real competition.
Bob's Burgers and South Park, I think, are pretty well received.
Now,
Simpsons
I will
nowadays
give you that
isn't
if this
funny.
was 6 years ago.
Well, and The Simpsons has won it like, 37 times, so it's not like they need to win it every year.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Bob's Burger has not been as good as it ever was since the first season when they could get away with some more shit.
I'm not a Bob's Burgers fan, really, but
I am.
South Park continues to put out pretty good stuff. Now they can do that, though, because they only do like 8 episodes a season.
Now, don't give me that. I am a Bob's Burger fan, but that first season is the best, and ever since then, it's kind of like it's okay. Like it's watchable, enjoyable, but it's not nowhere near the first season level.
And it was cool to see that Black Mirror won, I think, 2 of the creative Emmys for the USS Callister, the torture Star Trek episode, which was fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's the first episode they have of the season.
Yeah, they got outstanding single camera picture editing for a limited series or movie. It's like these are a lot of very specific technical awards.
Well, It's a very specific technical award show.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly seems that way, doesn't it? So if you're not Comedy Central, Cartoon
Sports
Network.
Emmys, what the fuck?
If you're Cartoon Network right now, you're probably going, hey, we are feeling a little bit better about our 70 episode order we just did for Rick and Morty, considering it just won an Emmy.
Yeah, because I mean now it's Emmy award winning Rick and Morty, Emmy award winner Justin Roiland, Emmy award winner Dan Harmon.
I really look forward.
Emmy award winning Pickle Rick.
I look forward to seeing what they do to make fun of winning the Emmy, because do you guys remember what South Park did when they won their Emmy award?
I don't remember.
That was the one where Randy tries to take the biggest shit in the world. And every time like he's taking a dump or whatever, they pop up the little Emmy Award spinning like Emmy Award winning comedy or whatnot. And at the very end, one of the folks from the Guinness Book of World Records or whatever it is picks up the statue out of the lower bug and like shoves it in the giant turd that Randy lets loose at the end. Wow. So they'll probably
Rick,
find
like, pulling it out of like the glove box of his spaceship and find like an Emmy and then just toss it.
Yeah, they're going to do something to at least call that out, even if it's a little aside or something like that. And I can't wait to see what it is. But
Doofus Rick is going to be holding on to it.
Yeah, that could be it too.
So got 70 episodes to get to it. That's the best part.
So kudos to the Rick and Morty team on your Emmy Award win. But that's all I really had news-wise. I'll toss things over to Anthony now.
All right, we'll go sad news first, and then the bright shiny news afterwards. It's the really sad part about this is, did you guys hear that a giant fucking megastar died?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't really been like blasted on social media and Twitter the way the last couple of big deaths have been. But we lost Burt Reynolds. Fucking the Bandit died. And when I saw that on Twitter, like I saw like one or two people talking about it. I was like, how is this not a bigger deal? Like, holy shit. And I realized that most of the people on social media aren't as old as me and don't really remember that in the late 70s, Burt Reynolds was fucking The Rock. He was in every major film. He was the biggest star on the planet. Like, nobody could touch Burt Reynolds. The laying on a bare rug thing that Deadpool did was an ode to Burt Reynolds, who did that before Deliverance went to the Oscars.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah. And he talked about how that's probably why they didn't fucking win the Oscar. But yeah, the Hollywood Reporter put up a great article about the ex-jock from Florida starred in Deliverance and Boogie Nights, but preferred making such populist fun fare as Smoking the Bandit, The Cannonball Run, and Starting Over. And I'm not going to read the whole article, but there's a good chunk of it here that was just really fantastically well written. It says, Burt Reynolds is a charismatic star of such films as Deliverance, The Longest Yard, and Smoking the Bandit. And the original Longest Yard is still, as far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest prison movies ever. It's a fantastic film if you haven't seen it. Don't watch that fucking remake with Adam Sandler bullshit. Go watch the original. It's great.
Well, I mean, Burt Reynolds is in the remake too.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's not the same type of film. Yeah, he said he died at 82, cardiopulmonary arrest, so he had a heart attack in the hospital. Says Reynolds received an Oscar nomination for his portrayal of porn director Jack Horner in Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights, was the #1 box office attraction for a 5-year stretch starting in the late 70s. He died at a medical center in Florida. Let's see, where was it? Has started such romantic comedies as Starting Over, opposite Jill Clayborne, Candice Bergen, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas with Dolly Parton, Best Friends with Goldie Hawn, and quite aptly The Man Who Loved Women with Julie Andrews. Though beloved by audiences for his brand of frivolous, good old boy fare, the playful Reynolds was rarely embraced by critics. First time he saw himself in Boogie Nights, he was so unhappy he fired his agent and went on to win the Golden Globe, but lost the Oscar to Robin Williams. So, like, he never won an Oscar, which is just sad because he's a fantastic actor. And then, yeah, it sucked. In his memoir, he talks about regretting it. Says, I didn't open myself to new writers or risky parts because I wasn't interested in challenging myself as an actor. I was interested in having a good time. As a result, I missed a lot of opportunities to show I could play serious roles. By the time I fully woke up and tried to get it right, nobody would give me a chance. Still, Reynolds had nothing to apologize for. He was Hollywood's top grossing star every year from 1978 through 1982, equaling the longest stretch the business had seen since the days of Bing Crosby in the 1940s. In 1978, the year I was born, he had 4 movies playing in theaters at the same time. And then it was also to note the movies that he didn't make were just as big. Reynolds' career also marked by the movies he didn't make. Harrison Ford, Jack Nicholson, and Bruce Willis were grateful after he turned down the roles of Han Solo, retired astronaut Garrett Breedlove, and cop John McClane in Star Wars, Terms of Endearment, and Die Hard, respectively. Like, all of those roles could have gone to Burt Reynolds. We would be living in a much different world if Han Solo was Burt Reynolds, if Terms of Endearment starred Oscar-winning Burt Reynolds, and Burt Reynolds had been John McClane in Die Hard. Like, well, holy shit.
That's one of those weird casting ones all the time, too, because remember, Indiana Jones was almost Tom Selleck also.
Yeah, exactly.
You think of some of those, and you're like, I just don't see it. How could anyone else do it?
Yeah, but at the time, Burt Reynolds was the biggest star. I think it hit me more because being born in 1978, it used to take a lot longer for movies to get to TV and HBO and stuff like that. So by the time I was 4 or 5, all those movies that he had in theaters, my parents were watching at home. So by the time I was really old enough to start remembering movies, my parents were watching all the Smokey and the Bandit films and The Longest Yard and fucking Sharky's Machine. Like, Burt Reynolds was on TV all the fucking time in my childhood. But yeah, it's sad. It's, it's another fantastic actor that, we've lost. But yeah, if you haven't seen Deliverance, and like most people only remember the squeal like a pig scene, but go watch that movie. It's a fucking fantastic, crazy ass, tense thriller of a couple guys just trying to go on a fucking kayak trip down a river, and then shit goes wrong. But Burt Reynolds is like the sexiest man alive in that movie. He's literally wearing just like a half zipped up vest, and just looks fucking hot as hell. Looks like the sexiest thing the 70s ever created. Yeah.
Let's all pour one out for Turd Ferguson.
Is it bad? That was the first thing I thought, and I really shouldn't have. But the first thing was like, Turd Ferguson. And I was like, why did I not think of any of the other movies and stuff he's done?
Because you're you, Chris.
Yeah, well, I mean, I am terrible.
Go check out the Hollywood Reporter article. It's a fantastic article. Like, it's really long, but it covers a lot of stuff. And I mean, dude did so much during his time. But then we also have good news this week. We got to see the cover of the next Entertainment Weekly. We got to see Skrulls. We got to see a de-aged, with his both eyes and hair, Sam Jackson.
Practical effect Skrulls, if I read that right, too.
Yeah, practical effect Skrulls. Ben Mendelsohn, going through actual, probably 4, 5, maybe 6 hours of makeup to become the Skrulls. As I would put up a funny-ass thing on social media where the Skrulls are all coming out of the ocean, and someone put up a line underneath it like, do they think the Skrulls come from our fish? Or do they come from the water? Because it looks like they're coming out of the ocean, which just looks so strange in the picture.
They're just making a Christian rock cover. That's all. It's just like Faith Plus One from that South Park episode. It looked like.
They're going to drop a Christian rock album at the summer.
I was going to say they're changing their history. They're now Atlanteans.
They're now Atlanteans, turn green. But yeah, Brie Larson as Captain Marvel is on the cover of the next Entertainment Weekly in the red and blue suit. So we saw the previous set photos where she had the green and white, the original OG Marvel suit on, and people were kind of freaking out because, people just freak out. But yeah, she is in the red and blue. She looks fucking fantastic. The suit looks super cool. And yeah, it's just this movie's going to be huge. Marvel's finally getting their, first female full lead movie, which has taken way too long. But at the same time, like, other than not having a Black Widow movie, Marvel hasn't really made a misstep, so I can't be mad at them. And this movie looks like it's going to be fucking great. She's going to answer her pager from the 1990s and show up and kick some ass. So I'm super excited to watch some Captain Marvel. But yeah, the set photos are awesome. Ben Mendelsohn looks super cool as a Skrull. The Skrulls look really good just all together. And the idea that there's been possibly Skrulls hiding on Earth since the 90s, like, that's awesome, because then they can mess with so much of the Marvel Universe. We don't know who has or hasn't been a Skrull this whole time. Like, think about how amazing it would be if they actually did Secret Invasion. We live in a world where we never thought we'd see basically a crossover event done as a movie. And already we've gotten Civil War and Infinity War. If 5 years from now we end up getting Secret Invasion and we find out that fucking, like, Tony Stark has been a Skrull this whole time, how fucking amazing would that be? Like, it would so mess with people. But it would also be really great storytelling, and it would be really fun. And now we actually live in a world where Marvel could do that, and it could work. Like, how fucking awesome is that?
So I saw one of the guys I follow on Twitter, because I like his takes on movies and things like that, said, this is the perfect way to end Captain Marvel. Let me know if you think I'm right or wrong. And he goes, Carol's pager goes off, she looks at it, and people around her start disintegrating. She then starts to disintegrate and somehow uses her cosmic powers to not, which shows how powerful she is. And I was like, okay, that would be pretty badass if she was that powerful. She could overcome an infinity gem disintegrating her.
That's too powerful.
I like it. Well, remember, Feige did say she's the most powerful hero in the Marvel Universe.
The most powerful, yes. But with the 6 stones, Thanos is God.
He'll never be a god. You heard Loki.
If her power could actually stop that, then literally she could just walk up and just snap Thanos' neck and it's not a fight. Like, that's too much.
Should have gone for the head.
Should have gone for the head.
Yep.
I mean, they're 100%
gone for the head.
It's all on Thor now. It's his fucking fault.
Well, that's part of what they said in that too. Is that remember Thor's basically? Well, we don't need to go back into it. Thor's basically a broken dude. Let's just leave it at that. He's broken.
Who's at more fault here, Star-Lord or Thor?
Both of them
Star-Lord.
suffer from the same flaw where they let their emotions get the better of them and could have ended it. So I would argue equally so. Now, one could make an argument Thor more so because that was the final chance. I don't know.
I blame Star-Lord. They had that gauntlet off.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking maybe Star-Lord because he had 2 chances. He could have killed Gamora.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? It varies. There's multiple people at fault. That's what it comes down to. Because really, they had ample opportunity to, which is better than you would expect, to beat Thanos. I mean, hell, Tony even drew blood.
Yay!
Yeah, all that for a drop
All
of
that
blood.
for a drop of blood.
I've been rewatching it because I just finally got it, and it's so damn good. It's basically the Thanos Chronicles, which I don't think any of us saw it coming that he was really going to be the main character in that movie, and he's so damn good in it.
Russo said he was the main character, basically.
Yeah, but I'm not
that.
sure any of us really believed that we were going to get that much on-screen Thanos after we've been getting 5 and 10-second shots of him for the past 10 years. Like it was so good.
Really
Fucking
was.
Thanos was so awesome. I think I'm going to finish watching it with breakfast.
And I'm sure it will win no awards come Oscar season because comic book movies are just popcorn movies and should never be eligible for awards. Even new made-up categories we make up for them will decide not to. Sorry, Black Panther.
That's because the Oscars are still far too old and white.
The only reason Heath Ledger won was because he died. If he hadn't died, he wouldn't have won, I bet, for the Joker. And he was damn good as the Joker, and he deserved it.
Well, that, and I'm trying to remember, he didn't win the year of Brokeback, right? He didn't win Best Actor that year.
I don't think so.
And so I think it was also a payback Oscar because it was one of those ones where people weren't happy that he didn't win that year for what was probably his best acting job. And so he won it for Joker. Which, yeah, if it wasn't a posthumous award, he probably wouldn't have won it, which is really sad because he was deserving for both films.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about the Oscars. They depress me.
Yeah.
They're
Why
ridiculous.
are we talking about them?
Because
Stop
I
it.
made a mistake.
Stop
in
it.
mentioning. Okay, Willie, let's talk about something else. What do you got for us?
Oh,
Yeah.
we're already going to me?
Yeah. Do it. Do it.
Well,
do it.
something I've been personally waiting for how long? About 2 years now? Let me just see. Would be a game called Spooderman. It finally came out. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just
Bill
say it
Spooderman?
correctly. Spider-Man. It finally came out, and I've been playing the ever living hell out of it. Haven't beaten it yet. I think I'm right at the end of Act 2. I was surprised to see it's built into 3 acts because I got the trophy for beating Act 1, and I think I'm just at the very end of Act 2. What can I say about this game? Well, like other sandbox games, most notably Ubisoft games, it is a collectathon.
Oh, yeah.
Not a bad thing since this game has a great way that you move and flow through the map with the web slinging. And the web slinging is this game's best feature.
Do you think it's
By
better
far.
than Spider-Man 2 web slinging?
I'm going to get a little bit into that.
Okay, then I will let you get to that when you get to that.
Okay. And just so I'm not sucking this game's dick off the whole time, I also have some cons for it. I'm going to start off with.
Had to be done.
I got spooted all over the face. Now the controls can be a little bit weird with it. I'm just starting off with some of the cons. Like when you're like just running around, like you the R2 button is how you run. And it can be a little wonky when like you're because it automatically parkours over things. And a little bit later on, you unlock an ability to do charge jumping. And one of my biggest gripes about that is you can just hold. You have to hold R2 to charge your jump with X, because X is your jump button. You can stand still and just charge up there, the jump up really high, or you can also run with it and charge up at the same time. The problem with that is whenever you parkour over anything, it resets the countdown for the charge ability to jump up extra high, or just resets it. And when you're trying to run around across the rooftop, when it has all those little pipes and everything, you start just hopping over all those. Like, I can't even charge this shit up. It's just a little minor gripe. I wish they didn't do that. I wish, it wouldn't reset the counter. That would be a nice touch if they change that back. And just like I'm having like some of these challenge missions, like I told Bachman last night, fuck these goddamn challenge missions. They're the worst part about this fucking game to me because I don't like these challenges. I don't like time missions or anything like that. I hate them. And you have to be so fucking perfect to get like the top tier. I think it goes amazing, spectacular, and ultimate. And you have to be so fucking precise to get the ultimate, to get the most amount of tokens from it. God, it's so pain. And sometimes the controls kind of work with you against you because it's like I just want to go there. How come I'm not going there? But some of it's like the web sling, which I'll get into a little bit later on. Oh yeah, which is right now. Think of it like this: the web slinging in Spider-Man 2. Think of it like a racing game. That was more sim based. And let's go take like Ultimate Spider-Man from the PS2 as well. That went more arcade like racing. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that feel where it's sim based, where it's like boom, physics mean everything, or arcadey where we're going to give you so much leeway. This game is kind of in the middle and leaning toward the sim side a whole lot. But yeah, but I did like the web swinging in Spider-Man 2 a bit more just for that sim base. Like the web has to hit a fucking building, and no matter where it hits, like you're swinging down. It seems like the game helps you a lot in this one when you web and to keep you off from hitting the ground or anything. Because it seems like when a jumping web, it helps you out a lot.
This one's designed to the bottom arc of your pendulum almost never hits the ground on this game,
which I can appreciate. Like that's a good design for you, but I would prefer it with a more sim based. And I hate sim racers, which is a weird thing. I'll tell you, give me an arcade racer any goddamn day. But it's weird. I feel that way about this. The combat could be a little bit more fine tuned. I mean, the comparisons are going to be there with the Arkham games.
Since the Arkham games were designed by giving Batman a spider sense.
Yeah, pretty much. What I mean is, like, I do like the way they do it in the Arkham games. Like, when you see that little spider sense go off and you hit the dodge button in the Arkham games, that proceeds over every other button command. You press the counter button, you counter. That's just it. This game, it doesn't quite work out where it's like if you're already hit the punch button and all of a sudden it really flashes and you try and hit circle, that animation is going to play out for the punch.
Yeah, like for bomb throws and the jumps and stuff. Yeah, sometimes it like counteracts itself.
Now the bomb throws, they actually are a little bit lenient with that, where you can do L1 and R1 to swing it back at them, the web throw it back at them. That's kind of lenient because the timer will actually stop from counting down if you use it to sling it back at them. I appreciate
No, I mean,
that
like,
fully.
if the spider sense is going off because you're being shot at as you're webbing a bomb to throw it, sometimes you get shot and sometimes you don't. Like, it seems like there's a little iffy leeway one way or the other, depending on when you web a bomb or a manhole cover or whatever, or a trash can, depending on when the spider sense goes off.
Oh, and if 3 or 4 people are shooting at you at the same time, you're going to take all that goddamn damage.
Yeah.
God, and I've also run into some minor bugs, like just minor little glitches. Like I got to a mission where I had to use a little spider drone, like crawling around the ground, and I turned around the corner from just getting it out, and there was a bus on the sidewalk just driving through people. It was just like phasing right through them.
Wow!
Like, wow! I saved that video. I did save the video for it. I was like, that's a bit weird.
I haven't seen
that's
that.
That's the only time I've really seen that. And it's a little minor gripe.
I don't know if I've seen any glitches so far.
Yeah, it's the only one I've really seen that was that bad. I was like, oh, I'm just walking on the sidewalk. It's this little spider thing, like a fisheye lens, and it's just like there's a bus on the sidewalk and just going through people. But yeah, a little minor gripe is like when you're from falling from the top and you just land on the ground. People in a 20-foot radius will just like, oh God, it's Spider-Man. Oh, he came out of nowhere and just fall to the ground like, oh God. Like, I'm not near you, guy. Why are you falling down? Chill out, buddy.
That's what I saw. Because I like the fact that sometimes there'll be like a car wreck or something, and you'll get there and everything's already handled. Like there's nothing that needs to go wrong, or like you don't have to save anybody. Nobody's hurt. It's just police and paramedics handling a crime scene, which is kind of cool because it makes sense. It's a massive city. Like there should just be traffic accidents where sometimes nobody's hurt, the cops and ambulance are there. But I had one of the ones where you stop a car in a car chase, it causes a wreck, and then when the paramedics showed up, the ambulance drove up on the sidewalk and drove over like 8 people. I was like, oh shit, well now there's civilians that need to be taken to the hospital because you fucking hit them with an ambulance. Yeah, that's the only one I've seen that was weird.
And now this is also a very tiny gripe. I mean, I wish it wasn't even a thing, because this was also in God of War, and they actually fixed it where you can increase the font size and menus, because that font in this game is really tiny. I wish it was just. I mean, I have to like squint. And like, what does this say? Lean in. It's like, okay, I feel like I'm an 80-year-old man. Come on, game. I think it might be something in the menu already, the settings, the upload. I'm not 100% sure. I think I saw a YouTube video that was saying something about that. I still have to go in there. So hopefully it's in there where you can make the text a little bit bigger. God of War did it. They didn't make it so you can make it really large, but they had it so you can, like, you know, give it like an extra 50% size. And it was like,
how quick did they do that patch on that? Because I know we talked about it in the pre-show. God of War dropped like a patch a day almost, it seemed like, just for minor tweaks.
Oh, yeah. I think about, was it like a week or so, maybe?
That's not terrible then.
Maybe it was less than, I can't remember 100%.
So that means they're listening to the fans and the gamers like, hey, we got a problem with this, and they're actively going to try and correct it. So hopefully that's the case with Spider-Man, because I do think some of the font sizes are a bit small.
Oh, yeah. Kudos to you, Santa Monica, for for listening like that and fixing things. Like that's just fantastic on their part. Hopefully Spider-Man will do the same.
Yeah, we'll see what Insomniac does with the first patch. Because yeah, they're a good company. They usually make really solid stuff. And yeah, it's day 3.
We already had a patch. Day 1.
No, I mean the first response patch.
I know. Now that attacked a little bit, let me just go on to the pros here, the good side, the graphics. Holy shit! The attention to detail and just throughout the whole city is fantastic. So the people walking around, I like how you can just go around and people are like, "Hey, Spider-Man!" and it has a little symbol over there. You go to them. You can press triangle. You can take a selfie with them. Like, oh, can I get a picture? He goes like, yeah, selfie.
You can high five them too. I think.
Yeah, like a double high five.
I've only gotten high fives so far. I haven't had anyone do a selfie. I've had them take pictures of me, but not take a picture with me.
Yeah, you actually put their arm around you. Hey, I'm not sure if you hover hands or not. I didn't really notice that. Just that thought just randomly crossed my mind just now. But also I like how, and through the loading menus, through the cutscenes, that the suits will stay with you, like through everything. Like, because this game has, 28 suits, I think?
Something like that. It's a ton.
Yeah, it's 28 suits. And this ain't no fucking, like, compare it back to Batman. You don't have to fucking buy DLC to get the suits. They're all in there. Like, I mean, I know the Batman Arkham games, it came with some, but most of them were under DLC. And yes, Spider-Man is coming out with more for their DLC, but that's still 28 suits in game that you can use. And you can use it through the story mode whenever you want. Like Arkham games, you had to beat the game to even use them. This one, you can just use it whenever you unlock it. You can still use it. And I think all but 3 or 4 have all different abilities, and you can also attach those abilities to any suit you want.
Yeah, the best feature is that once you unlock a suit, you unlock its accompanying ability, but then that ability can be put on any other suit. So once you unlock an ability, you can wear whatever suit you want to look a way you want to look and use any ability that you've unlocked with the other suits, which is fantastic.
So you're not locked in like, well, I like this ability, so I have to be this suit I don't really like. So you're not locked into that. That's a good thing. Just oh my gosh, just the attention to detail with Insomniac. You did a fan-fucking-tastic job here. Not even gonna lie. I love the design of the characters too, how they kind of updated their looks and whatnot. Like the Shocker looks fucking great. I'm getting to a little. Is it really
Norman Osborn's hair bugs me because it's not the cornrows that it's always been in the comics.
They made him look a little bit more like Trump with that orange hair, did they not?
I think so.
Did you notice that, right?
Yeah, it's like him and Doc Ock. Those are the two biggest changes for hairstyles because Ock always had that funky bowl cut.
Yeah, the Mo.
Alfred Molina didn't really do it, but like this is a full on like he's going bald. Like it's a totally different look for Ock.
And it kind of fits him the character too, because he's like one in his 50s.
Yeah, and he's frumpy, which he's always been like a frumpy old scientist. Which I mean, it makes sense. They all look great, Like, and the fact that like there's literally like texture on the skin.
Oh,
Like they
yeah.
put pores in the people's skin. So when you get a close up on camera of like Norman Osborn talking, like it's so close to an almost CGI person that it's creepily good.
It's
Like
getting
the details
close.
are insane.
Yeah, it's getting close to the uncanny valley.
Yeah, it's really close. Like some of the video in this game for the cutscenes is on par with like the CGI characters from the Star Wars movies. Like it's that close. Like it's that good.
And I wasn't sure if I want to mention Doc Ock was in this game. Well, he's not. Well, I'm not even going to say anything else more than that.
Dr. Audrey Octavius is in the game.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because they didn't show him in any of the trailers at all. None of the gameplay or nothing. But he does show up within like the first 10 minutes or something.
A lot of the stuff that's not in the trailers that hasn't been revealed has been amazing. That's one of the best parts is there's so much that they didn't show. Like hot damn.
Just wait till you get to the end of Act 1. How that ends like
I finished Act 1 last night. Yeah.
So you got to play as a character then. That I will not be saying.
Yes,
all right.
I did.
And also like the story, like the depth of the history the characters all have. Like Otto Octavius and Norman Osborn, they do not like each other. They worked together in the past. It seems like, but they hate each other. They do not like one another.
He says that. He says they were lab partners in college.
Yep. Yeah, these characters have a history with each other. Like, because I guess part of it, this is a Spider-Man that has been Spider-Man for 8 years.
Yeah, he's 23.
So he's already out of college and everything.
Yep.
And
he's been Spider-Man for 8 years.
Otto was his mentor through college and stuff too. Is one of the things you find out early on too.
Yeah.
If you pick
I
up the
can't
photo
remember
of
that off the
them
top of my head.
in the office.
Okay, I don't really remember that fully, but I mean, I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, the only really big change in this storyline compared to like the comics or the movies is that you're seeing Spider-Man who's been Spider-Man for 8 years, but two of the biggest supervillains in his history haven't become supervillains yet at the start of the game, and so that's like a huge difference. But yeah, it's the way that like they did a lot of changes to tell basically a new unique story of Spider-Man, because I mean by the time he's 23, the Sinister Six, he's already fought them like 19 times in the comics. But I mean, yeah, they altered a lot of stuff to also mix in other character storylines that have been added to the Spider-Man mythos over the decades. And so it's a really good mix of different sources of different Spider-Man stories. So I'll leave it at that without spoiling anything.
Oh, and I also like you said you collected all the backpacks, right, Bachman?
Yeah, I got all the backpacks, landmarks, and I think it was one more thing last night.
Well, that's also how it's telling the storyline too a little bit. Like part of it's like from the indestructible horn or rhino. You actually find in one of the backpacks. It's like it tells like a little story about it. I was like, oh, that's nice. You can see like I've had history with this. Yeah,
there's 55 backpacks hidden throughout the city. Each backpack has an item that Parker tells you about it when you open the backpack. And so it's 55 little mini stories that tell you more about the game, the characters, the world they live in, the tech, other villains he's fought. Like it's awesome where it's basically a giant history lesson spread out in 55 little pieces throughout the city.
Well, when you say mini stories, they're only like 2, 3, maybe 4 sentences long.
Yeah, like they're super short. Like it's little blurbs basically about an item. But like it nails down almost an entire history of the character for 8 years, which is awesome.
And I told you one of my favorite ones is a business card he gets from Matt Murdock. He's like, oh yeah, that blind lawyer. How do you know I was Spider-Man?
I still like the plushie. The plushie's great because I have that plushie. It's actually the Funko plushie of Spider-Man is in the game.
And also with that business card from Matt Murdock, it actually has Braille on the card because you can rotate them around and you can see the Braille on the other side too.
That's cool.
That attention to detail. Insomniac, you're killing it.
Yeah, like there's literally a point where last night I was just swinging through an area and I stopped and just walked through a back alley. Not on a main street, just a back alley between buildings. And like there's skid marks on the ground. There's dirt and puddles underneath gutters. There's random trash strewn next to trash cans. There's just random equipment and stuff beside buildings. The amount of time they spent building stuff that the majority of companies wouldn't care about for filling out an environment is part of what makes it such an immersive experience. Like it feels like an actual living city.
And let me get to my biggest problem with the game. This is a big one. I've been waiting for this game for 2 years, ever since they announced it at E3 2016. I've been waiting for this game. Now, in waiting for 2 years, I'm at a crossroads here. Do I want to rush through it and beat it? Or do I want to just do a little bit at a time and hold back and not play it as much?
I totally get what you're saying.
Do?
I totally get that because that was me with like Mass Effect 2 and 3. And Mass Effect 2, I rushed through it and I was like, oh man, I don't have any more. I got to wait for the DLC or wait for something else. So I actually paced myself a little bit with Mass Effect 3 until I couldn't take it anymore. That was the problem. I didn't have the self-control to pace myself.
You know what?
See, I figured that's why there's 3 different difficulty levels, because I'm going to fly through on easy, and then I'll take my time when I go back through on medium.
And 3 DLCs coming for it also.
Exactly.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to play it as I want to.
See, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure me and Willie have put in way more hours than we should have since it was released Friday, or he started Thursday night actually. So yeah, he's even worse than me.
Yeah, I was going to be right there at midnight, select the game and go it, but at around like 11:30, I kind of dozed off a little bit, and then at 12:24, I woke up and I was like, "Oh shit!
Oh, download, bitch!"
No, it was already pre-downloaded on Wednesday. It started pre-downloading.
Oh, nice, even better.
So by Thursday night, I could instantly just go right there, just click on it and it's done, and it's starting. So yeah, that was nice. Now I'm gonna wait to give like any kind of number or value attached to it till I beat it, and probably have a week to digest it.
Yeah, it's too early to start doing rankings and stuff. I like what a lot of the other gaming sites are starting to do, which is we're not going to assign a number score to it. We're basically going to tell you what we liked and what we didn't, and at the end say, do we recommend it or not? Because I think number scores, especially when a game first comes out, is too arbitrary. And then there's too much nitpicking where someone's like, well, you gave it a 4.5 and these guys gave it a 4. You're assholes. Why'd you do that? This game is great. I like the transition more towards we recommend it. Here's what we like. Here's the flaws, things like that.
I like what Colin Moore always said. He was an editor at IGN, and then he went to Kind of Funny, and then I don't know if you remember last year, he also was fired. I talked about that. That was fucked up.
Telling a joke.
Yep. But anyway, I like what he said best. The number is arbitrary. It's what was written in the review is what should matter.
Exactly.
Yep. And this is a fantastic, fun game. If you've ever enjoyed a Spider-Man game, you will enjoy this one. I can say that hands down. And
we actually have the biggest news of all. Like, Bachman, you know the biggest news of all of this is, don't you?
Burt Reynolds died. I already talked about it.
No, of this. I said of this.
Of Jesus. This?
Yeah, of the Spider-Man. We got news yesterday, and I was like shocked. Like, wait, what? The one and truly Chris over here, he went and got a PS4 for this game.
I did. Yeah.
I have said if there's anything that would get Chris to get a PS4, it's fucking Spider-Man. And which version of the PS4 did you get, Chris?
So I got the Spider-Man edition, actually, because they were actually still around. So let me tell the story here. It's a combination.
Bravo!
It's a combination of you two and then my lovely fiance on Friday night. Like, why don't you just get a PlayStation and play Spider-Man? I paused and I go, wait, what? She goes, you know you want to play it. And I said, And I went online and started looking. I said, I tell you what, we were going out to dinner that night and had to run a couple errands. I said, if I find one of the PS4 Pro Spider-Man Edition packs, I will get it because you get a PS4 Pro, which is normally $400 for $400 in this pack. Plus you get the Spider-Man game and all the DLC, which is like $80. So I was like, okay, you save $80 by doing this. It's a red console. Who cares about that? But here's the thing. Those got bought up all over the place. People pre-ordered them. They might have been available earlier this week online to get, but they were nowhere to find. And I was like, whew, dodged a bullet. And until I went on Walmart's website and looked it up and said, oh, none of the Walmarts in town have it. Oh, shit, the one in Fairmont has it. Fairmont, for those that don't know, is like 20 miles down the road from my house. And I went, well, they got like 6 of them. I can think about it. I woke up in the morning. They had 5 of them. I went, well, we'll see what happens. We went out that afternoon to go and do Moltres Day for Pokemon Go. And I went, they're down to 3. Ah, fuck it, I'm just going to do this. And I placed an order on my phone for pickup. They send me an email that says, we're confirming your financial information. This could take 1 to 2 days and is for your safety. I was like, the shit? I want to go
What?
pick up my PlayStation. So
Yeah,
I was
that's
like, well,
bullshit.
how many do they have left in the store? I looked, like, they have 2. I said, so worst case, after we're done here, I'm going to go buy that and cancel the online order. And probably about a half hour left of Maltrace Day, I get an email. Your order's ready for pickup. And I went, sweet.
Nice.
So yes, I did get the PS4 Pro Spider-Man edition. It is a bright red console with a white spider on top. It matches nothing in my entertainment center, but it is hooked up in there. I had to
And it's
redo.
beautiful.
I had to redo some of my cabling to do it because I just redone the entertainment center recently. Got that in place. Then had to remember, these are all first world problems, by the way. Then had to remember how to go into my receiver to set it up so that the input I put it in, which was not the game input because that was taken already. I put it in my Blu-ray player input because I don't have a Blu-ray player. I put it in there and said, how do I set this up to do HDR? And I had to figure that out. And then I put the game into HDR and it was glorious. 4K HDR Spider-Man. It's pretty sweet.
And now comes a better time. I want some of the people in the chat to also include this too. You also want some recommendations for other PS4 games as well.
I was going to ask for some recommendations. You guys have PS4s. Folks in the chat room do. I know Horizon Zero Dawn's one of them. It's on sale on Newegg for like $12.99 right now, so I'll probably get it at some point.
That would probably be my top of the list of games you need to play, especially since you like Zelda so much.
Right. So
Get that game.
I was looking at PS4 exclusives I haven't played. So obviously the Uncharted games are something I want to play because everyone's talked about them. I'm like, okay, I can buy those for dirt cheap right now. Now I'm not buying them.
Uncharted 4.
I need to play the first 3 also. I haven't played them. So
They do have the first 3, the collector's edition.
yep. So that's some of the stuff I was looking at was like the Uncharted games at some point, but this is after I beat Spider-Man and after I beat some of the stuff in my backlog on my Xbox. So, yeah, so if you guys have suggestions, send them to me in the chat room, send them to me on Twitter. The only question I have for you guys is why are the fans so ungodly loud in a PlayStation 4?
What do you mean?
Like,
the fans.
The fans
I
in it.
didn't
Like,
notice it.
I guess I sit closer to where it is. Like my Xbox One X is super quiet even when it's under load, and the PlayStation 4 is like woo, the entire time I'm playing Spider-Man. Maybe it's because it's graphically intensive.
It's probably
or something like
Spider-Man.
that.
Yeah, some games
that must be that must be the Pro version too, because I don't think I've ever heard my PlayStation 4.
Yeah, well,
mine doesn't make any noise.
It could be a matter of being on the PS4 Pro because the fans are working hard on that one.
I have heard about that. I did hear about that a lot, but I don't really never notice it that much. I do hear it when it kicks in over, like, oh, okay. It is with like some graphically intense games like Spider-Man. And since you also have the 4K HDR too, Horizon is also runs in on that too. So you're going to be looking at it the best too. Oh, I wish I could see that.
Yeah, for love of Insomniac, once you realize how much you love Spider-Man, I would suggest picking up Infamous Second Son, because that's the one they made specifically for the PlayStation 4.
Ooh, Bachman, you just did a faux pas.
What?
That was Sucker Punch.
I thought it was Insomniac.
No, that's Sucker Punch. Sucker
That was
Punch
Sucker
did
Punch.
Sucker Punch did Infamous, and they also did Sly Cooper. Insomniac did Ratchet and Clank.
Okay, yeah. Well, Ratchet and Clank for PS4 was awesome as well. I thought they did the Infamous series as well.
No, that's definitely Sucker Punch. They're also doing that one that I told you, the Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, that looks gorgeous.
Yeah, they're also working on that too.
Either way, Infamous Second Son is for PS4, and it is gorgeous and super fun.
Oh, and definitely God of War as well. Throwing that in on there too.
I enjoy the karma-based games where you can become a good guy or a bad guy by the end of it.
So some of
you
the
can
stuff,
either go face or turn heel.
I was also looking at the Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 collection that was out because I have never actually played them. I've watched my friends play them, so that's hours upon hours worth of stuff. And Kingdom Hearts 2 comes out this year. Or Kingdom Hearts 4 or whatever the hell it is. I don't remember.
Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out.
That's it.
Yeah, those are a time sink. Those are giving up a chunk of your life if you're going to play
those are
Kingdom
fucking grindy games. I can't do it anymore.
Well, they're old school RPGs.
Yeah.
No, not quite old school RPGs. I mean, Jesus Christ, you're talking about 2002, 2003?
Yeah, they're not Dragon
old
Warrior.
School. Yeah, how about to say, Chris? Check your privilege, Chris.
Check my privilege. I'm sorry. What was I thinking?
Check your privilege. There's not something I thought I'd ever hear on this podcast. Said the white man to the other white man. Check your privilege, sir.
Well, to be fair, a lot of white people do say that to other white people. So, yep, that's the Spider-Man. Bow.
Yeah. I will say I've only gotten to play about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours worth of Spider-Man because I didn't pick it up until yesterday afternoon. Came home, watched a football game that didn't end until like 9, played for an hour and a half. Woke up this morning, went to the grocery store, played for about a half hour, then went, oh, I guess I got to do a podcast now.
Oh, do any of you guys, how do you guys feel about what I said about it? Do you guys kind of agree with it?
I think from what I have played so far, what you said is fair. The problem is I haven't put enough playtime in to really have a full opinion on anything.
Bachman, do you have any concerns with what I said?
I did 4 or 5 hours Friday night and then probably 8 or 9 yesterday, maybe 10. I would agree with all of that. Plus the fact the wall crawling is a little sticky sometimes. There's points where you'll walk up to a wall and you can be pushing forward and he'll just keep running. And you don't actually start climbing, which is a little weird unless you hit R2 and then you start running up the wall.
Oh, you have to hit R2 to start climbing it.
But I mean, sometimes you can just walk into a wall and start climbing, like inside buildings. But yeah, so sometimes that's a little glitchy. But I mean, it's a very tiny thing where it doesn't happen that often. And then also, there's social media on here. On inside the game at NYC Wallcrawler is Peter Parker's Twitter feed, and it's hilarious. You can spend half an hour just reading the Twitter feed in the game. Like, I fucking love that.
You know, I never look at that. I see it on there. I just never look at it.
You can scroll back through it. It's awesome. I will. One complaint. It's not about the game, but I will complain about pre-ordering. Chris had talked about the whole Amazon day and date thing, which they canceled and stopped doing after I'd paid for a game. But I want to say thanks to Colin Addington, my buddy, because he gave me a Redbox code. So I went and rented Spider-Man for half off on Friday and brought it home after work. But I want to show you guys this because this is just making me even more mad. I'm sharing my screen for those watching live. I pre-ordered Spider-Man on the PS4 on Amazon March 25th. They still haven't even fucking shipped it yet.
Just cancel it and buy it somewhere else.
I already paid for it on that credit card and I don't have fucking money to pay for it anywhere else. But yeah, it
doesn't charge your credit card till it ships.
Yeah, that's true.
As far as I know, it's already charged my Amazon card. But yeah, it's so annoying because what's the point of pre-ordering a game through your company? I mean, okay, if you don't want to do it day and date, that's fine, but it should have at least shipped on Friday. How the fuck is it now Sunday and it still hasn't shipped?
Because they got crushed, probably. I mean, it happens. It's happened on a couple of games for me, but
yeah, there's no point in pre-ordering a game with a company 6 months early if I'm going to get the game a week late. So yeah, I won't be ordering anything through Amazon again because since I don't pay for Prime, this is apparently how they punish you if you don't pay for Prime.
I think it happened to Prime people too. It's just a matter of there were too many pre-orders for it.
Yeah, the one and only game I did for day and date for Prime was the Uncharted Collector's Edition.
And I remember there was another game, something that I got where, like, literally the day it came out, I had it delivered at my house. I was like, that's fucking spectacular. And so that's what I was expecting with Spider-Man. And yeah, now it's supposed to show up sometime next Thursday or Friday. What the fuck?
Oh, here it is. This is the actual case.
They had like 6,000 of them at GameStop and Best Buy.
I thought about it. But then I don't get my pre-order code.
Yeah, that's not so true.
That's a good point.
Well, I mean, the pre-order code doesn't do much. I mean, it just lets you get those costumes a little early. That's all it really does.
Here's the thing to consider, though. In today's world, 9 times out of 10, you don't have to pre-order because it's not like they're going to run out of these games like there was the concern on some of these things in the past. How they hook you is to get some of those pre-order bonuses, which may not really matter. Here's the thing. If you keep pre-ordering games and end up being shitty, it just encourages them to keep putting shit out.
Whoa, Chris! They're going to run out of digital codes.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, I mean, and that's the thing too. As we've migrated to digital, who gives a shit on some of this stuff? You can pre-order and get a bonus, or you can wait until reviews come out and get it. I pre-ordered
digitally.
The only reason
I get my shit digitally.
Yeah, the only reason I pre-order games anymore is because I got a discount for pre-ordering. If I didn't get a discount, I'm not going to pre-order it because. What's the point? I can go and buy it off the shelf after I read reviews and find out whether it's good. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, we like soapbox. That's what we're here for.
Oh, you do kind of smell a little bit, so please rub some of that soap.
You got to wash my mouth out with the soap in the soapbox because I got a friggin' potty mouth. That's what it comes down to.
I'm just when Bachman
the
said,
animal.
when Bachman told me yesterday that Chris on Twitter said he got a PS4, I was like, Twitter? I don't have a Twitter thing. It popped up for me. He meant the Hangouts. No, he meant the Hangouts.
Well, I think I said he posted that he got a PS4
and blamed you all.
Twitter.
On my Facebook post, it says, "This is Anthony Bachman and Willie Nelson's fault."
Oh, okay. I haven't been on Facebook yet.
So it's not Spider-Man's fault. It's our fault.
I choose to blame you guys for making me spend an exorbitant amount of money for one video game.
The important thing is that when Anthem comes out, we will have Team AGN rocking 4 power suits in Anthem.
I'm playing on Xbox because the controller's better.
You already have a PS4.
The PlayStation controller sucks.
Better?
Yes.
No, what?
Yes.
How does it suck?
Blasphemy.
Because the thumbsticks aren't offset.
So what
Neither are my hands.
Because I don't get the buttons right. Because it's always like press the triangle button. Like, what the fuck is triangle? Is that X? Is it A?
That's on you.
No, it's triangle. You need more PlayStation time. That's all that is.
You try. How do you play a Switch and you go to Xbox? All the fucking letters are all jumbled around between those.
But they're
two.
letters, not fucking symbols.
Those symbols have meaning to them.
What meaning does that have?
Well, for one, it's kind of like think about it. The circle is 1 line, X is 2 lines, triangle is 3 lines, and squares. But not only that, they actually had a purpose. Like when they first came out, like X and circle. That was like circle's okay in Japan. X is like for cancel.
Well, and didn't the PlayStation 1 come out before the Xbox One?
Who cares? Yeah. It doesn't mean the controller's better.
That means those symbols that you're having trouble with have been in place and a known quantity longer.
That doesn't mean bullshit, though, if I don't like it.
The buttons are bullshit because Xbox just fucking made...
You mean because Nintendo's been doing ABXY since the Super Nintendo days?
Yeah, they were just copying them, so that's even worse.
What are you talking about? That was before a PlayStation even existed.
No, he's saying Xbox
copied them, so they're lazy. Sony came up with a new whole fucking thing.
I'm not quite agreeing with them. I understand what you're saying.
It doesn't change the fact I don't like a PlayStation controller. When I hold it in my hands, it doesn't feel right. The Switch Pro controller, the Xbox controller, they fit better in my hands. They feel right. I don't like having 2 thumbsticks at the bottom of the screen. I like the offset.
Feel right.
Well, here's the thing. Chris, I'm about to change your mind. Chris, you hold on 1 second. I'm gonna change your mind right here. Do you ever play later at night when your girl goes to sleep?
Yeah.
And you try to play quieter then?
I don't give a shit. It's upstairs and I'm in the living room.
Well, I'm just saying. One of the best features is you can plug in earbuds into your ears and plug it directly into the controller and have all the volume come through the controller.
Why would I want to do that when I have Dolby Atmos surround sound?
I'm just saying if you want to be quiet for any particular reason, that's the best fucking feature of that controller.
Look, all of your statements are valid. I don't like the feel of a PlayStation controller. That is the problem. That is on me. It doesn't matter whether PlayStation came up with their button concept before Xbox. I don't give a shit. It doesn't feel right to me.
That's just because you're having the mindset of the Xbox One X with the stupidest fucking name ever.
Yeah, okay.
It just looks good. It works great.
Willie,
but the fucking name is stupid.
Willie, go hold a fucking Switch Pro controller. It's the exact same kind of layout of things. It feels right. It fits right. I can use it right.
I've played an Xbox controller before. It's
a better controller.
It feels a little weird.
I think the Xbox controllers are too bulky.
I'll take my Xbox Pro controller any day of the week over a PlayStation 4 controller.
And also, I'm sorry, aren't the Xbox controllers still running on batteries? That you have to AA batteries or something?
Yeah, that's a good thing because you don't have to tether into things. If you run out of batteries, you can put more in. Or you buy a rechargeable pack to put in it. Whoop-de-doo.
Or you could have a lithium-ion battery built into the controller and not have to fucking worry about it.
Lithium-ion batteries die over time.
Okay, so after how long?
I don't know. It varies on how much you charge it and whatnot. This is the stupidest argument we're having right here.
It's still an argument we're having.
That's not true. We've had dumber arguments.
Suncast is 100% right. Last 5 minutes of this show, no Xbox controller is better. No PlayStation controller is better. I made a comment from my point of view, and then I'm getting savaged. It's like being on fucking Twitter.
I'm not saying which controller is better. I just want to state that right now. I'm trying to defend you saying the PlayStation controller is trash. That is what you said. Verbatim, you son of a bitch. But... I know, but still.
Then it's not what I said verbatim.
I know, it was a hyperbole, all right?
It's a hyperbole.
Yeah,
Willie and his fake news.
All right,
But
so
I'm just defending. You know, you said something bad about. I'm just defending. I never said Xbox is
all right,
worse.
All right, so we're going to transition off of this. One last thing on it, though. Out of any of us on the show, who is best equipped to say which controller they like? Who has all 3 of the current gen consoles in their house and has played on all of them? That's me, asshole. I win.
Do you like how he said we're going to move on here, but we're just going to be one last word because I'm saying so?
Because
You like that?
I
like that?
control the buttons that translate off of things.
That's true. He does control the buttons.
Well, press the goddamn button, then, you son of a bitch.
Oh, I love it. All right, so for those that aren't aware, when we're not arguing about Xbox and PlayStation controllers, like
That's not a
Compassion
goddamn
Fanboy-
button, Chris.
I already hit the button. He's so mad, and it really entertains me right now. But for those that aren't aware, I mean, we're not arguing about our preferred controller of types. We are part of a network of shows called the Gonna Geek Network that you can find online. There's 25 plus different shows in the network that cover a variety of topics, from specific television shows to video game culture to pretty much anything. We've got all sorts of stuff. But we can't talk about every show each week, because if we did, we'd be here for another half hour, 40 minutes. What we can do, though, is give you a taste of one other show and say, hey, you guys might want to go check this one out. And this is when I throw things over to the one and only Willie Nelson to tell us all about this show. And please not talk about PlayStation 4 controllers.
Chris, I think it's the first time ever that you forgot the D, because I know how much you love that D. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about Game Life Balance US. Podcast episode number 55. Dave Wisnowski changed his life on a dare and ended up creating a legendary video game. That's a long title. In 2002, Dave Wisnowski quit his job and set out to make his own wrestling game. More than 15 years later, he's still at the helm of Pro Wrestling X, one of the most ambitious independent game projects in modern video game history. In this podcast, he tells his story and gives an update on the game that by all rights shouldn't exist, and how he's been able to stick with it for so long. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you. I think so. Yeah, go check out Game Life Balance US and the rest of the shows on Gonna Geek Network by heading over to GonnaGeek.com and clicking on the network button. But all that being said, it is time for us to start wrapping things up. As we wrap things up, we have a little bit called What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with you guys who are watching live or listening at a later date just what kind of geeky and nerdy things we've been getting into, so that maybe, just maybe, you can go check them out yourselves. Anthony, why don't you kick it off for us? What have you been getting into, sir?
You mean besides Spider-Man?
Yeah, is there more to life than Spider-Man on PS4?
Well, Spider-Man didn't come out till Friday. You had the whole previous week there.
The whole previous week was just figuring out how I was going to get Spider-Man on Friday. I was contemplating running out and buying it anyways, and fucking I've been working on some drawings. I got some more of the Pop Little Killers done. I got some more of the cards. I'm doing a sketch card series of all the killers from Dead by Daylight. Got a couple of those inked this week. Excuse me. I finished one of the division pieces for the Fantasy Comic League. We got our drafts done, so we're into our next season. And then I've got the second piece, the skin tone colored, which I was worried about because it's the first time I've done an African character with Copic markers. So I did the smart thing and I went online and found an hour-and-a-half tutorial of a guy on YouTube doing an African American character with Copics to figure out how to do the layers of the markers to get the skin tone just right. Because layering markers to do skin tones, the darker the skin, the harder it is because the more colors you're going to use and the more chance there is of like bleed. And so depending on if you have really cheap paper or if your marker goes crazy, like it can be really troublesome. But yeah, figured that out and got the skin tone done on that drawing. So I have to do the costume now, but I'm not as worried about that because I was just worried about getting the skin tone right. So I'm happy with how it turned out. And then went out Friday because my buddy Colin, thank you, gave me the code. I went and picked up Spider-Man. And then I did want to stop by Best Buy because a couple of movies had come out and I hadn't picked them up yet. So I went and checked a couple places on my way to go get my comics, and I found my very first Funko Pop Chase figure in the wild and paid regular $8.99 price for it. So I was super stoked. I found the Porg that's like crying, But yeah, it was just the regular price. They didn't bump it up at Best Buy, which is cool because some stores will jack up a Chase figure to like $30 on the shelf, and it was just the regular price. So I was like, cool, I'll pick up a Porg. And then I picked up my the Marvel double pack. I got me all things Thanos and all things Deadpool. So it's basically just, one actor kicking ass all over the place. But I got the Steelbook for Deadpool. I got the Blu-ray for Infinity War. So yeah, I started watching Infinity War again. I'll probably watch some Cable later today. Some Juggernaut bitch. It's just two damn funny films. And yeah, just the fact that Josh Brolin is the star of like the two biggest Marvel movies in a year is just awesome. And the fact that he nailed both characters so well is incredible. And all things Marvel. I'm having a Marvel weekend. I had like 7 or 8 Marvel comics that I picked up. Got Spider-Man, got the Marvel movies. And I was thinking about it when I fired up Willie's got the Deadpool Steelbook.
Best Buy.
When I fired up the Infinity War and the Blu-ray started, I realized that part of the problem, like I people probably say I hate on DC and talk, we've been known to talk shit about DC movies and talk up the Marvel movies. I don't hate the DC movies. When I fired up Infinity War at home, watched it for the first time, like I got like heart palpitations, like fucking like butterflies in the stomach, like, oh, I get to watch Infinity War at home. And it's being 18 movies into a 10-year series. The amount of joy and how fucking happy I felt, I want that for DC fans, because I remember that for DC movies when I was a kid. I remember Christopher Reeve in the first Superman. I remember when 89 Batman came out, and it was the coolest fucking thing on the planet. It's hard to see it now, but at the time, that Bat costume and fucking Tim Burton, it was the coolest thing ever. There was never a more badass superhero than fucking Michael Keaton as Batman. It was so cool. And I want the DC fans to have that feeling again. And so that's why I feel bad about some of the DC movies. But I'm hoping with the 2 Captain Marvels coming out, maybe both companies will start kicking ass and getting on course again. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. I'm going to go watch some more movies and play some more Spider-Man.
If you think about it, like just like Marvel's idea at the beginning, like, we're going to start making a lot of these movies. We're going to contract these actors to keep on doing them too. That must have been crazy back in like 2007 when they started getting the gears in motion, or 2006 when they started the gears in motion.
Well, people don't remember that at the time, Robert Downey Jr. was having trouble getting insured. He was having trouble getting cast in movies because companies wouldn't insure him because of his history of crimes and drug use. Jon Favreau had done Swingers and a couple other movies, but wasn't a huge name. And Iron Man was a 3rd-tier character at best in the comics. Nobody gave a fuck about Iron Man.
Yeah, I was weird because I loved the Iron Man book in the early 2000s, and there weren't a ton of people reading it.
Yeah, the book was great, but like it wasn't selling well. If Tony Stark hadn't been the main character in that book, it probably would have been canceled. It wasn't doing well. It was a whole bunch of huge risks, where at the same time there was no risk, because if that Iron Man movie came out and failed, nobody would have given a shit. Nobody would have cared.
Well, you also have to look at it from the actor's standpoint too. Like, I'm gonna have to be making a lot of these movies like pretty quickly, and I'm under contract.
What was it? Sam Jackson's original contract was 9 films. Like, that's insane.
Has he even done all those yet?
I think he finished his first contract because it's the 9 cameos at the end of like all the movies. Because like the first 5 was just cameo, and then he did Avengers.
Well, it was Robert Downey Jr. and The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, that was one of his appearances as well. But yeah, like the idea of signing Sam Jackson for like a 9-movie deal when they're starting this thing, like that was probably ridiculous.
Yeah, probably. But it paid off for him.
Yeah, it definitely worked. But yeah, I hope going forward, like, because there's already people doing like the Captain Marvel versus Captain Marvel debates online, which is fucking ridiculous. There's going to be a female Captain Marvel. Yeah, Captain Marvel and Shazam are both Captain Marvel.
Okay. You said Captain Marvel wasn't 100% sure what you meant.
So yeah, there's people already talking shit online. And God, I hope Zach Levi kills it. The movie looks amazing. The director has said that apparently they're still doing updates to the suit. So what we've seen in the previews and the photos, none of that's the finished product yet. So the the entire finished movie is going to have another like layer of CGI over the suit. Which, I mean, we saw that and someone talked about it. I was like, that's not a bad thing. We saw that in Black Panther. You look at the first trailer of Killmonger, and when the outfit falls off and he wears the suit for the first time, it looks totally different from what hit the theaters. Like
they do that all the time.
They completely redid the suit.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy, they from the first trailer to when the movie comes out, even Fantastic Fan Four Stick, they did that where the alien planet thing was the negative zone was like it was totally red, different. And then it was green.
Yeah, but it's something where I'm hoping, going forward that we're going to see Captain Marvel for Marvel is going to kick ass because they have an Oscar-nominated Oscar-winning actress in that role, and she's going to come up. We get a throwback movie from the '90s, and then we get her showing up and kicking Thanos' ass. Like, I'm so excited for those. But I'm also super excited that hopefully Zach Levi is going to put out what might be the funniest, most heartfelt DC comic movie so far that we didn't get with Superman, and so we need it with Shazam because they need a fucking character that's not dark and gritty.
And that we may never get with Superman because Henry Cavill's about to be really busy with a Witcher series.
With the Witcher series.
Man of Steel was better than a bunch of Marvel movies.
You're full of shit.
Yeah.
Thor: The Dark World
is better than Man of Steel.
No, it is not.
Thor is accurate to the character.
Because
Man
of Steel... Hell. Zack Snyder has no clue what the fuck makes Superman Superman.
That's not on Henry Cavill.
Man, I didn't say it was on Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill's awesome. I loved Henry Cavill in Justice League when he actually got to be real Superman, but that's neither here nor there. We can have this argument at another point. And yes, Sailor Poland, I'm raising my hand right now, and the chat room says, all those who want to see James Gunn do Green Lantern Corps, raise your hand. Man, I want
it. Both hands. Can I put a foot up?
Yeah.
Like, goddamn.
Yeah, I'm totally in on that.
But
love
wait,
that.
Is that a thing that's in talks?
Well, he got fired from Disney.
But supposedly,
go work for DC?
There's a lot of interest in James Gunn with other studios out there.
Oh, yeah, I know that. Trust me, I know that because Disney.
Yeah,
you done fucked up big time.
Yeah,
people would care. No one gave a fuck.
All right, so we are pressed for time, so I'm going to go next. I'm going to make it quick what I've been getting into. I played Spider-Man yesterday, went out for Pokemon Go Moltres Day and caught 10, 11 of them. One of them was shiny. That was fun. Been rewatching The League because I'm playing fantasy football again this year, and The League makes me laugh. And
it's so good.
Despite being dated, the references to some of the players, it's still hella funny, and I love that. And
Pete just started an Instagram account yesterday, Mark Duplass.
Nice. And then last thing for the Fantasy Comic League, I have won 2 seasons in a row now.
Nice.
As we transition away from Midtown over to the Red Room, hopefully I can keep that going. Here's a positive sign. I just won my 2nd season. I had the number 1 pick in the redraft as it was random and totally got Spider-Man and Captain Marvel and Ms. Marvel.
Red Room, what does that mean?
Nice.
Is that something from comics?
It's something.
That's where Widow was trained.
Yeah. That's what was responsible for Widow's training.
Because I just heard what a Red Room means in the deep web.
I don't want to know. Don't tell me.
That's something different.
I don't want to know. But that's what I've been getting into.
Not what you're thinking.
Willie, why don't you wrap us up by telling us what you've been getting into?
Well, I learned what a Red Room is in the deep web. Let me.
And again, I'll reiterate, please don't tell us.
About that. Yeah, we don't want to know.
Yeah, I mean,
ignorance is bliss. Leave us alone.
Yeah, just think of Hostel. That's all you got to think of.
I don't want to know anymore. No more.
So pretty much playing a lot of Dead by Daylight before Friday, of course. But this is BS before Spider-Man.
Accurate.
It's a previous timeline now. It's not even the same world, man.
I started counting down on Wednesday. It's like 38 more hours. I got 38 more hours. I can play Spider-Man until at midnight. I started thinking like that just because it popped in my downloads and it said and it gave me a countdown like 1 day and so many hours left before you can play it. It's like, what was weird though also because I pre-ordered it and you get like a theme and I've been having the same PlayStation theme since God of War. It was the God of War theme. Good music in the background of it, but yeah, the theme was also dated for that midnight too. Like, why can't I just fucking use the theme now? I was all right, a spoiler or something in it? No, it's just fucking Spider-Man on it. But it does have the sound effect of the thwip and the whoosh whenever you move through the menu. That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
And speaking of themes on the PS4, or was this the PS3? Never get the Sonic one. There was a Sonic one that was just super loud sound effects every time you move through the menu. Like the little ring, like whenever he gets a ring or gets hit, it was just super loud. I was like, why? Oh God. And it was just so noisy and cluttered.
Yeah, the Spider-Man theme's fantastic.
Oh yeah. So you get the little flip.
Yep. It came with my version of the game, so I automatically went over to the Spider-Man theme.
Nice. The God of War one is pretty damn nice itself, because that music in the background, just because I've been having it on there just for the music, the orchestra, like the whole thing.
Nice.
But yeah, and I don't know if I talked about last week, but they are going to release a new killer for Dead by Daylight, and it's going to be like a samurai girl. I think it's going to be based upon like the Smile Girl, Japanese kind of horror story. It's what it seems like it's going to be based on. Yeah, it looks kind of cool, and the new map looks kind of cool too, like a feudal Japan type look to it.
Interesting.
And other than that, would I watch any movie? I don't think I watched any movies. My buddy came over. We watched Kingsman 2 because he hadn't watched that. He's coming over every 2 weeks because he has his daughter every other week. And next week, not this week, but the one after, we're going to be watching Thor Ragnarok because he's never seen that one.
Oh, so much fun. I love that movie.
Which is better than Man of Steel. I would give it that. But Man of Steel is better than Thor: The Dark World.
We're not going to argue with you about how wrong you are anymore, Willie.
It's not.
I'm sorry. I thought we already argued enough about the goddamn controllers.
I wasn't bringing it back up. I wasn't going to bring it up.
But you were thinking it.
No, I'm just ready to end this debate because we'll not change either side's minds on any of this. So what's the point in arguing about it?
Controller is all about your personal feel.
Thank you.
Someone said it feels like a tiny controller or something. It feels good in my hand. I got big hands.
Uh-huh. I've heard that from other people too.
What the lady said, oh, I just got big hands. It's not that small.
No, I was making a subtle political joke without actually calling it out, but thanks for making me make it.
Well, I didn't think you would get political in this show, so I didn't even think you would even do that.
Sometimes I make subtle jabs. That's all I can say on that. But
that's fair enough. Yeah, but the controller is not that bad. Just
it
go
is
ahead.
Time
do your wrap up.
It is time for us to close things out. So a big thank you to everyone who did join us today for this episode of the podcast. Don't forget, we stream live every Sunday at 11 a.m.
Damn it, Chris, I got Spider-Man to go play.
10 a.m. Central over on geeks.live, the official streaming
He's going full plaid
of the Gonna Geek Network. You can find us in a variety of other things there. Just go over to geeks.live, scroll to the bottom of the page. You'll see a live schedule of all of the events that are upcoming. And I do think there is some other live content on there today. So please go check it out. And
fuck this, I'm out. Spider-Man time.
Well, since Willie's gone, Anthony, you got any final thoughts for us as we shut this thing down?
Josh Brolin kicks ass.
Ain't that the truth? I don't think anyone can dispute that.
We all need more Spider-Man.
And that Thanos did nothing wrong.
That's true.
Thanos did nothing wrong. On that note, we will see you all next week. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.
You see